Good morning. I hope everyone's tuning in. Seems like the world is wanting to know how to make biscuits. So I'm going to show you how that we are going to try this. I've never been live on Facebook, so let me know if you're there. There you go. I see some sisters. Thank y'all. I'm going to show y'all how to make the biscuits mother taught us how to make. So I've got my sister-in-law here, and she's going to video for me. And this is trial and error, as along with everything else nowadays. But we're fixing to begin these biscuits. I'm going to turn my oven on 400. And I like to use a cast iron skillet, but you don't have to use a cast iron skillet. You can use a pan or a glass dish or, whatever you got. I prefer cast iron. And you need 3 simple ingredients: some self-rising flour, some milk, and Crisco to put in your biscuits. I'm not real good at measuring. That's how come we're going to do this live, because I don't ever have time to measure. My mother always put shortening in the bottom of her skillet. And that's how she, kept her biscuits from sticking. But one of my sweet little neighbors that's no longer with us, Miss Tommy Lee, taught me how to do my vegetable oil in the bottom of my pan. It makes for a little crispier crust. And you dip your biscuits in it when you put them in your pan, and then you flip them over, and it gives it a pretty brown crust on the top. Later, I began to add something to it. I melt butter and put a little salt in it and drizzle over the top of them, and it gives it a really good... We used to do that when we went to the deer camp, and everybody loved them like that. So we're going to begin. I don't know how you flip it around on this. It's not showing me how you flip it. So I guess you're going to have to hold it like, is that all right? Okay. We've washed our hands and got my sifter. Here's my self-rising flour. And I'm just going to put me some scoops in here. And if you don't have a sifter, I've made it many times, you don't have to sift. But my mother always sifted. And put it down here. We're going to sift. I probably filled my sifter 3/4 of a way full. All right, show it. Put it over here in the bowl so we can, there we go. And filled, I guess my bowl it's about a third of the way full. And this is the size bowl I have. We're having a little issue because we don't know how to turn our phone around the right way. It lets me on other things, but it's not giving me that option. So, I'm going to take shortening. I use Crisco. And, keep it right there by the shortening. And then I'm going to just take a good scoop and put in. If I had to guess, I put 2 scoops. This would probably be, I don't know, a half a cup pack, 3/4 of a cup packed down. You don't want to not have enough. That'll make them kind of tough. It won't make them soft. I'm probably going to put me another scoop in here. So, let's see. Can everybody see what we got in the bowl here? All right. I'm going to crumble that with my fork. Just kind of cut it in until it's all crumbly. I know I have not ever made biscuits with plain flour, but you can. You can use if you only have plain flour, you can add salt and baking powder. But I don't know exactly how much. I haven't done that. I always use self-rising for most everything I do. When you use self-rising, if you just cut out your salt, if the recipe calls for salt or baking powder, baking soda, just leave it out and use self-rising. Mother taught me that too. Okay, I'm going to take milk and I'm just going to pour some in the middle. Yeah, it is just right. And I'm going to take my fork and kind of stir it a little bit. You would rather put too small, not enough than too much, and then have to just keep adding flour to it. But you can always add more. You usually just can't take it away. And biscuits is kind of like other things. You have to kind of work with it and do it a few times for them to turn out like you like them. I'm going to add just a little more. So you kind of get it all mixed up. And then I'm going to put flour, sprinkle a little flour on the top of this because it's kind of wet. You want to leave it a little wet. And then I'm going to put it on my hands. And you kind of have to knead it. And you want to put the flour on all, just kind of keep coating the flour. After you sprinkle it on the top and flip it over, the bottom of your pan will have flour in it as well. And I'm just kind of picking it up and pushing it down. That's how you kind of, and you just do that a few times. Okay, Allison, hold it over here so they can kind of see what it will look like. It'll just kind of look like this. And it should be soft. It shouldn't be hard. If it's hard, you don't have quite enough milk. You don't have quite enough shortening. Just add you a little more. Okay. Back that up just a little right there. Point right there. There you go. All right. I should have put my oil in my pan first, but I didn't. I want y'all to kind of see. I'm going to pour this oil. And I'm going to smear it around here because I like crispy. I like crispy biscuits. And I like crispy everything. Everybody always fusses because I always have to have mine, my husband says, burnt. But anyway, I'm going to put a little more flour on my hands. And just pinch off some of my dough. And I'm going to just knead that a little bit. And I'm going to put that in my pan. And rub it a little in the oil. And then I'm going to flip that over. And I'm going to repeat that until they're all in there. While you're doing this, if you have sausage or bacon or deer meat, that's what we enjoy eating, have that thawing and start cooking it while you're making these. So it'll all be ready at the same time. One of our favorite things to do is to eat deer meat. When my kids was deer meat with tomato gravy and biscuit. When my kids were growing up, on a Saturday morning, we usually had a house full of girls and a house full of boys because my daughter was a good bit older than my boys. She'd have her friends and they'd have their friends, and the boys would usually go hunting, and when they came back, I always had tomato gravy and biscuits. And so sometimes I had 2 pans of biscuits because I couldn't make a small amount, and now it's hard for me to learn to make a small amount. I always make too many. But anyway, I put these in here. I'm going to dip my hand back in the flour. Turn it down this way a little more. And I'm going to go in here and press all of these down. Just the oil kind of keeps them soft so your hands don't stick. Okay, you should turn it down just a little bit more. There you go. That's what they look like before I put them in the oven. Let me wash my hands and I will show you the next part. Okay, we have, I've melted about 3/4 of a stick of butter, and I like to use real butter. I don't like to use margarine, but you can use margarine. And I've melted it in a pot, and I'm going to add a little salt to it. And then I'm going to drizzle it over these biscuits. Now, nobody said anything about this not being fattening, because it is. It's very, very fattening. But it's very, very good. Okay? I put mine on the lowest rack. And I'll post a picture when they get done. You can just watch them, and as it probably takes usually, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes. I don't ever watch. I'm just busy doing other stuff. But just watch them when the tops of your biscuits are brown. They're ready to eat. Have you some butter waiting or some jelly, and hope you enjoy. And I hope you all stay safe, and God bless you, and have a great Sunday.